Because what it does, it teaches a new level of respect for the other. You know, like like this right here. We're taught in school and everything else about the United States of America. And we all have a respect for our military because we have been shown over the years of what our military actually does. We've been shown how they fight for the country, how they stand up for the country, how they put their lives on the line for the country. You know, just the other day I saw on the news where they just had a celebration for the black soldiers of World War II, and they gave them, recognition for that. You know, at Marshall Point. You know, and a lot of documentary, a lot of movies, a lot of videos, anything else you see. When they show those things, one movie, for example, Red Tails. Get a chance, watch Red Tails. It's based on true events.
Was that warplanes? About warplanes?
Right. Lawrence Fishburne.
World War II fighters.
Right. When they first let blacks into the military to fight in the Air Force. Tuskegee Airmen is about. It's about the Tuskegee Airmen going over to fight World War II.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, those men now are being recognized for that. At one point in time, they weren't recognized. At one point in time, they didn't want to have them over there. And these are men willing to go and fight for a country who basically is telling them we don't want you.
Yeah, that's crazy, dude.
But they're willing to go do it.
Yeah.
Because that's what they're taught. That's what they know. And they feel as if I'm fighting for my people to continue on as well, to have existence as well.
Makes sense.
I want to do my part. Same as in the Civil War.
Right.
You had blacks in the Civil War. Not just because they were free slaves. You had Confederate black soldiers as well. There's a Confederate black regiment right now, to this day, that marches in the parade every year. I know one of them personally, and they were Confederate soldiers. Now, people say it's not a fact though. They were stupid, they were ignorant, they didn't know, or they were made to fight. No, they weren't made to fight, because they could have easily left and went and joined the Union. Just as easy as anything else. They stayed and fought because this is what I know. This is where my family's at. I'm fighting because this is where we need to be. And that's what they did. So, now, some people may have different views about it, some people may debate me about it, whatever. I'd love to have a debate.
Right.
Not a problem. But as I said, I know one person, the reason why they do the reenactment and everything else. And it wasn't because they were slaves. It was because they were actually enlisted men in the Confederate Army.
They're proud of their heritage.
Right.
They're proud of where they came from.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so they want to make sure
Which is great.
they fight to keep things going.
I think that's so important, because it's so important to not let the truth get lost in the sauce, too.
Right.
Because you think about the Civil War, you think in your mind sometimes, well, in my mind, because I'm not that educated about that type of stuff, but I knew there was black soldiers, but that's not the first thing I think about. I think about, like, pretty much, which it was probably predominantly white, but I don't think about black men fighting for the South in the Civil War.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's not. So I think that's important to never forget that that's the truth.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of stuff gets lost in the sauce nowadays, and with all social media and.
It does. And people get so mad when you start talking about it. Whatever, they went fight for the Confederate. They didn't fight for the Confederate. They didn't want to. How you gonna say they didn't want to? How you gonna say they didn't do it? They put a uniform on, they fought, they stood up, and right now today we have reenactment of those soldiers. But see, the thing about it is, it's like I tell anybody, if we're gonna talk about history, let's talk about history from A to Z. Let's not leave out what we want, what we don't want to hear because it doesn't sound good with us.
Yeah.
Because we start talking about history, start talking about the Civil War, we can go further back to slavery. Me and Tim have these talks all the time. Yes, there were black slave owners. It's a true fact. Yes, there were.
It doesn't really change anything.
Right. It doesn't
change anything.
It doesn't at all.
What is the point of bringing that up? It's the truth. It's the truth.
Right.
But what's the point behind
it? And that's the thing about it. A lot of people they
were
want to bring it up
too.
like
they were idiots too.
Like, well, they were black slave owners too. So that doesn't justify the fact that
if you say that, you're a moron. Like, but if you say it like trying to prove a point, is that like
right?
How does that make anything okay?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's not. You know, I mean, but and like I said, I mean, so like back to my point when I was saying about the soldiers going to fight for war. I don't even remember what point why I was going that route. When I started going to history, I just started digging deep in history.
Well, I was thinking I said something about it being the truth and being important, and I probably messed you up where you were.
Right. What I was saying about the civil rights and how they were fighting. So these people were just fighting for the basic civil rights, and a lot of people don't really understand what went on during that time. And that's why I said I took my children there to make sure they understand and learn why.
And you think it is also important for a white family. And that was, dude, I realized this when I was talking to you, that I want my kid to know everybody's perspective.
Right.
I want him to know the whole truth. I don't want it halfway taught to him. Like what I want him to know, I even the stuff I don't want him to know.
Right.
Like I want him to know. You know, does that make sense?
Right.
Like I want him to know every side of it when he's ready to digest that. You know what I'm saying? When he's ready to stomach like how a lot of history doesn't line up with morals and values, bro. Like a lot of it. Like from the beginning of it being recorded until even now, it's like there's super immoral things that have happened in history. And it's those things that they don't need to be covered up. It needs to all be taught as a whole. This doesn't need to be an elective to take black history.
Right.
It needs to be history.
Right.
Like history doesn't need to exclude black history.
You need to split it, the history. You do white history, you do black history in one semester. That's what you gotta have.
Yeah.
You know, instead of like you said, being an elective. Because a lot of things that are not taught, that should be taught, that people will know. And I guarantee you, if you start teaching these things, people will change their mind and change their mentality and a lot of stuff will change for the better. Because now, you know what I'm saying, you got, like you said, you got a different perspective of how this person actually feels now. Oh, that's why they do that. That's their culture.
Right.
So that's why they dance and move like they do, because that's where they come from. The drums, the beatings, that's where they come from. They're musical people from that area. Yes. Yeah, we are. That's why we do that. That's why, you know, so things. But, you know what I'm saying? And so that's why white people do this.
Right.
Oh, okay. Because they're not from they're not from the tropic. That's why they tan.
Yeah.
That's why they skin do that. That's why they got, okay. Yeah. Now I get it. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, if you never do it and you leave it up to people to try and teach you things, you got a lot of ignorant people out there that's teaching ignorance all year after year after year.
The curriculum is almost ignorant, bro.
I mean, so
what their guidelines are to teach is almost ignorant.
Exactly.
I mean, I haven't been in school in however long, but I mean, you got kids that are in school.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's things.
Do you think it's any different, like what they're learning now than what you learned when you were in school?
Yeah, I mean, it's some of the different.
Like as far as history and.
Not really. I mean, they still learn the same thing, like North Carolina, you know, like crops and stuff. But my kids are elementary right now. So.
Yeah, so they're not really like. I mean, they were ready, you know, to see what you took them to see. So it's like.
Right.
Do you think that would be taught to them? Probably not to the extent that you taught it to them.
No, it's gonna be touched on.
That's sad, dude.
They're gonna touch on it. They're gonna tell them what it was, give them the dates, give them the timeline. They're gonna talk about Dr. King. They're gonna talk about. They ain't gonna talk about Malcolm X. They're gonna talk about Dr.
almost
King.
All I learned about, dude, was Martin Luther King.
That's the main.
And I don't even really know anything about Malcolm X. Honestly, like I just know. Well, I don't even know this for a fact, but what I think I know is that he kind of led a civil rights type of movement, but it was more violent, right?
He was more taken by force.
Yeah, he used a little more violence. And did the Black Panthers exist like before, pre-Malcolm X, or did they kind of come?
I think they came during Vietnam.
Yeah.
So that was.
Sorry to ruin your Black Panther party. That's how I know that's true. I ain't even got to fact check it because it was in Forrest Gump.
Right, Forrest Gump telling the truth. Forrest Gump wasn't racist.
Ain't nothing. Yeah, Forrest Gump.
Bubba Gump Shrimp. He still.
He loved Bubba, boy.
Shrimp in honor of Bubba, and he gave Bubba Mama Daddy some money.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? He sure did.
Bubba
loved shrimp, dude. You remember how much Bubba loved shrimp?
No more. Bubba got shrimp. Lieutenant Diane.
What do you think about white privilege?
That question came up. See, that's, you know,
Just tell me I don't give a shit, like, who
I'm
it
trying to
offends.
find
I don't
a way.
care who it offends. I just want to know your honest opinion of,
Well,
from a black standpoint. And then I'll give you mine from a white standpoint, and then we'll...
I say yes and I say no.
Yes, it does exist.
Right.
I don't think there's kind of really any question about it existing, but...
Right. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Is it to a point where... Because, see, white privilege only lies within the person who's given the privilege.
Right.
I mean, that's it. I mean, you know, I know that's basically in a sense what it means, but... And I mean, when I say it, I mean that... God.
Let's look up the definition of it. Can we do that? Because
Yeah,
I'm not
fine.
really
I
100% sure, dude, honestly. I just hear what I hear, and then it's no...
Yeah, and it's basically saying, like,
Let's
you
just
know,
see if...
oh, because you white, you're not going to be harassed by the cops. Or because you white, you're going to get the job. Or because you white, you're going to get the loan for the house. Or because you white, you're going to be able to do this. Or because you white, your credit's going to be better than mine.
Look, even if that is true, which, I mean, the harassed by the cops thing seems kind of true, honestly, to me. But anyway, that's just my perspective. But even if that is true, black people teaching their kids that they're at a disadvantage, I think is not a great idea.
It's not.
Just because it's like, well, you're only going to be this good, so what's the point in even trying to be the best?
Exactly.
Like, you're black, so you're never going to be the best.
Right.
That's crazy, dude. To me, that is like a handicap on the black community.
It is.
To me, that's just my perspective. But I'm pretty sure you're right on what you're saying is... I don't even know how to spell privilege, dude. E-D-G-E, definition. I think you're pretty much right on that. Like, right on the... Hit it right on the head. Let's just use Wikipedia, dude.
That's fine.
White privilege, or white skin privilege in parentheses, is a societal privilege that benefits people whom society identifies as white in some countries, beyond what is commonly experienced by non-white people under the same social, political, or economic circumstances. So basically it's saying regardless of money, it doesn't really matter, even if you're poor, white, whatever. Academic perspectives such as critical race theory and whiteness studies use the concept to analyze how racism and racialized societies affect the lives of white or white-skinned people. So I guess it's saying, like, if you grow up in a predominantly white neighborhood, you're going to kind of think you... I don't know, dude. That's kind of confusing, honestly.
I mean, well, basically what it's saying, like, let's use it. I gotta use real life scenarios.
Yeah.
You know, and let's say for a job, you know, a career, you know, you get chosen for the job over me because the man sitting behind the desk is white.
Right.
You know, you get it. You less qualified. You don't have the credentials I have, but you get the job. That's white privilege.
Who knows for sure that happens besides the man behind the desk?
Right. So white privilege only exists because of the person who gives the privilege.
Dude, you're exactly
and it's
right.
the same thing with a black person. I could be the man behind the desk, and I could see a person of my race and my heritage, and I could be like, I'm gonna give you the job. I don't care if this white boy got a freaking PhD right now. I'm gonna give you the job.
Do you think that could have even something to do, like, with something as innocent as I feel more comfortable around somebody that's white, or I feel more comfortable around somebody that's black? Do you think that the motivation behind something like that could be something as innocent as that? Is what I'm saying. Like, not really as not racist. Is that racist for me to say I feel more comfortable if I'm around a bunch of white people than I do around a bunch of black people? Like, if I didn't know, if I was in a group and I didn't know anybody, and I walked in and it was all black people, I was the only white person.
You go to the white person that you see.
Probably
if
so.
You saw one white person, if there's a room of blacks, and there's one white person in that room, you're going to go toward that white person.
That's crazy, right?
You will automatically go just because you feel as if we already got a connection because we're the same race.
Right. Isn't that wild? Do you think that's ingrained in our brains?
Yes, that's the same stereotype. Like one time before, my mother and my wife, one of them was at the store, and this lady was at the store. And I'm gonna talk about my man from Maine, your people. So, ladies in the store with her daughter, And the little
You
girl.
said from Maine.
Yeah.
The
from
guy.
Maine.
The guy that. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
From Maine, and
They don't have black people up there, do they?
Right. I'm just saying.
There's no black people in Maine.
The little girl was staring. I can't remember my wife and my daughter, but it was my wife and my mother. They was telling me about it, and the little girl was just staring at him, staring at him. And
white girl.
yeah.
Okay.
And the mother of the white child